Hello, everyone. IMS welcomes you to the B School Insider, all you need to know about your dream school. And I'm your host, Kalyani Majumdar, for this webinar. So in today's session, our topic is IIM Calcutta, Campus Life, Placements, Academics. In this webinar, you'll get the insider's view of IIM Calcutta and find out all about the personal journey of the 4 panelists who will be joining us today, from their CAT experience to the selection process at IIM Calcutta, the exciting campus life at IIM Calcutta, what is the JOCA spirit, what makes IIM Calcutta different from the other IIMs, especially pertaining to IIMA and IIMB, the academic schedule and faculty of the B school, what is the placement process like, and how to get selected by top firms, and more. And to answer these questions, we have our speakers. We have Manan Ved, he is PGP 2020. He's a senior associate at BCG. We have Mannat Kaur. She is PGP 2022. She's a marketing manager at L'Oreal. We have Shambhavi Joshi. She is PGP 2023, and Ashutosh Gupta, also PGP 2023. Welcome all of you guys, and thank you so much for being here today for this session. Okay, so let's start from your CAT score prep selection process and tips. So tell us about your CAT experience. How much did you score? How many months did you prepare for? And was there anything in particular that you did to get success? So maybe a tip or two. So we can start from Shambhavi, then Ashutosh, then Mannat, and then Manan. So we are going, the ascending order. Okay, Shambhavi, you can start.
So I scored a 98.89 percentile. I gave CAT in the year 2021. I was a fresher, and about my preparation, so I started the preparation a bit. Wasn't sure whether I was going to do an MBA or think about masters or something like that. So I started sometime in July and August first week. And with respect to the prep, as I had very little time in my hands, I started with solving papers. Like directly, I started solving test series. I did not sit and go through the syllabus or started from like point zero. I took the book. I did not buy the books at all. I just started with test series. Okay. So and kept on solving test series. So some 100-ish test series I would have solved. Okay. And within that time and understanding what kind of questions are there in the papers.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Ashutosh.
Thank you, Kalyani, for inviting on this session. Good morning to all the attendees here. So I scored 99.99 percentile in last year's CAT, and it was my second attempt. Earlier in the year 2020, I took CAT and scored 98.75 percentile, but due to some personal issues, I wasn't able to join. So regarding the CAT preparation, in the year 2020, I completed all my courses, like all the academic part. I went through all the syllabus. And regarding 2021, I only took mocks. It was very aggressive. Like I took as many mocks as possible, given I was working as well. So 2-3 mocks per weeks at the end, starting with like I started with taking 1 or 2 mocks per week, but at the end it became quite aggressive, and I took around 2-3 mocks per week, which helped me to understand the process, where I am failing, where I'm lagging. So the main thing which I'll try to tell you is you review, analyze, and improve. Every time you take a mock, you sit down, review it, analyze it, and then look upon the improvements which you can do, and try not repeating the same mistakes again and again. That is what I did during my CAT preparation.
Okay. Manat.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kalyani. Thank you so much for inviting us here. So my CAT 2019 score was 99.61, and it was my first attempt. I was a fresher. Okay. And back then for my preparation, I knew that I wanted to sit for CAT. So I had joined the coaching institute, but I'd say coaching institute was just, getting the taste of what CAT could look like. But the actual preparation definitely started off when I joined mock series. So if we ask the number of mocks that I've given very seriously in those 3 hours of duration, I think they were around 25 to 30. because after that I felt that I'd started getting the pressure of just attempting mocks like 2-3 times a week, because there's like lesser number of weeks and you want to give more number of mocks. So instead what I did was I took the mocks after they had been given in lifetime. I took the question bank, solved them in sort of an answer booklet form of a question, and I would create 3 approaches to the same question. The first would be what I would do in the examination hall spontaneously. The second approach would be what some certain shortcut method, if those can be inculcated to shorten the time that I would be spending on that particular question. And the third approach would be the coaching institute itself. They provide certain methods to solve them the questions as they roll out the mocks with them. So these 3 approaches I would just check, and then in the actual examination I would use the approach that best suits me. So this was my approach. But mocks are definitely the game changer in CAT. Without mocks you cannot go far.
Okay. Yeah, Manan.
Hi everyone. So I scored 99.84 back in 2017. So I'm a bit of a oldie. So yeah, I studied for like 4 or 5 months. That was my first attempt. I gave around 40 odd mocks, if I'm not wrong. So that is it. I mean, I am from a non-engineering background, so I focused more on quants. So that was my strategy. And as everyone mentioned, like mocks are very important. So yeah.
Correct.
And I took a coaching class as well. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So tell us something about the selection process, as in the personal interview. How did you, or the GD, or how did you guys prepare for those? What were the kind of questions that were asked, and any special, any particular tips that you would like to share with the future aspirants? So yeah, again, Ashutosh, you can start. Then Shambhavi, then Manat, then Manan. Yeah.
For PI, there are a lot of aspects in PI. There are a lot of questions which are being asked. If I had to just jot it down, there will be personals, work ex, internship related, academics, projects, what you have done in your UG, current affairs, your where you belong, your regional politics and news. So all these things are very important. Starting from the personals, you need to brush up your personals very well.
Okay.
You need to prepare your introduction, why you want to be an MBA, why this B school. So all these questions are very important. Then comes your work ex, if you have work ex. So I had a work ex of around 46 months.
Okay.
So my major chunk of the interview questions were related to my work ex. You need to put in very like huge effort in preparing about your work ex, what you have done. You have to satisfy each and every line which you say in your interview. So you need to work hard on that, as well as a cat's part for freshers and the people who are having 1 or 2 years of experience. So they also ask some questions on ACATS. So you need to brush up your ACATS as well on during a from your UG process.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Shambhavi.
Yeah, so as you said, for freshers, it's a bit different with respect to like people with work ex versus freshers. I was a fresher and I had a degree, like a BSc in microbiology and BA in Bharatnatyam. So I had to prepare for both of these fields, and it's very rare that the panelists would know something so deep. So they will ask surface level questions. For me, I was like, I can't say lucky really, but COVID was going on. So I could anticipate few of the questions. They would be surrounding vaccines, the recent news related to COVID, then other viruses who are in the similar family. So basically that was with respect to biology. With respect to Bharatnatyam, they asked me about why I chose it. Like everything you do in your life should have a reason. And so you have to back it up with why I chose it, why I decided to pursue it, and a few GK questions surrounding it. With respect to my IMC interview, the panelists were really happy. Like they were really excited to ask me questions that I wouldn't have been asked in other B school interviews. So they started with asking me about my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents' professions. And yeah, and they were super like happy that this is something that nobody would have asked me, and really nobody had asked me. So I don't know whether knowing those things is important, but it worked well for me. Also, one question I think skewed the interview in my favor was knowing why I wanted to get into IMC.
Mm.
Why specifically IMC, and being from a non-engineering background, C is known to be a bit maths oriented or quant oriented subjects and the way they teach. So why do I, who has left maths in 10th, want to get into Cal? So I had to back it up with a good reason, and I think it was convincing. So I ended up here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Also, okay. Can you guys all tell us just in one line what was your undergrad subjects? Ashutosh, what was your undergrad subject?
I have a BTech in civil engineering.
Okay, BTech, civil engineer. Shambhavi, BSc.
I have a BSc in microbiology and BA in Bharatanatyam.
Okay. Manan, commerce. Yeah.
Yeah, commerce.
Yeah, BCom. Yeah, Manan?
Yeah, I am a BE in computer science.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah. So Manan, now, yeah. Please continue. Yeah. With the PI and all. Yeah.
So I was a BE in computer science and also was a fresher. So mainly for me, again, things categorized into, first is personals. Personals is extremely important. Second is your academics, and unfortunately for me, the panelists do know a lot about engineering, so they'll cross question and they'll challenge your wit. The third is any sort of extracurricular and co-curricular activities that you have done. So in my introduction, I used to ensure that I mention about my startup and my NGO, which is something which is outside of the box that I've done, and I don't have work experience, so that is my best bet to go with.
Is this the luggage?
Yes, luggage star. Yes.
Luggage star. Okay.
So my entire interview post that revolved around my startup. I mean, I at least for 25 to 30 minutes, my interview went on, and they kept on asking me about the startup, the kind of funding that we are getting, the kind of revenues that we are generating. So it really depends on what catches the eye of the interviewer. They can ask you anything. And of course, I had prepared for general awareness, the current affairs and everything. Back then, I was giving the interviews at a time when social distancing was not a thing. I gave it in person. And there was this just very small COVID article in the newspapers back then. So I did not really have to prepare a lot for that. But I also gave the BAT, the written ability test. I don't know if it's there this year and if it's relevant, but do prepare for some, basic writing skills also if you can.
Yeah. Okay, Manan.
Yeah, so I had prepared basically the same as everyone, as the newspaper, etc., and all of that.
But yours was again also from the non-COVID time, so your
person. So I used to go to like these 5-star hotels, say lunch, breakfast, and all of that. So like sometimes people used to ask, like I'm Calcutta. I asked what was there in outside for food. That was the first question I was asked, and I didn't remember, to be honest. And they're like, "Arey, itna bhi nahi pata kya karoge aake?" Something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun interacting, face to face and all. But yeah, basics remain the same. They ask you about your academics, your past, if you have any work experience. I had 3 years of, experience at Deloitte. So I was asked on that. I was asked based on, commerce and all of that. And I'm at that time, 2018, there were a lot of frauds going on. So Nirav Modi and all of that. So they asked me all of that and get into, the politics and all. So that was, and I also was asked the same question, I am Calcutta, why I am Calcutta. I couldn't answer it properly, to be honest. I tried to give them some random stuff and all. They're like, nahi, aisa kuch nahi hota idhar. So, but still I got selected.
But you got a call from IIM as well as
C. So I got selected in everyone. So I got selected in A, B, C, L, K, I.
But why did you choose?
So there are many reasons. So I am being from a CA commerce background. So A had around 25 CAs at my batch. B had around 14, 15 CAs, and C had 5 CAs. So majorly placements and wo sab ke liye. And second, my nature is a bit of chill kind. So Calcutta imbibes this vibe. A और B में A में बहुत surprise test होता है. I'm not sure अभी currently क्या है. Looking at Ashutosh's expression, but मेरे type तो काफी chill था. So I like the people interaction. So I have a lot of reasons, majorly placements and people. So that's why I chose Calcutta, and it has been a good decision. Everyone hated me back in 2018, but after 2020, everyone's like, हाँ अच्छा था, बराबर था, सोच के किया था, something like that. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's let's talk about a bit about profile building now that we have freshers in our panel as well as people who have work experience. Obviously, when you have work experience, you have a lot more talking points. So especially this is for Shambhavi and Mannat. How did you guys fill that gap? As in, how do you build your profile? And is there any tips that you can give, especially that can help our MBA aspirants, especially with IMC? Shambhavi and then Mannat. Yeah.
Okay. For me, I was lucky that I had pursued dance for a long time. So I speak from someone. So anyone who has a hobby, a passion, which they left in school, pick it up again and talk like that. That becomes a talking point. So even if you're great at painting, do something. Like give some exam, create artwork, and keep it going. Show that you have followed your passion. A second point would be for the people who don't think they really can pursue it right now. Maybe many people over here give CFA exams, and that has helped a few people a lot. Like they write CFA L1 cleared, L2 cleared, and that is something you can do being a fresher in UG. You don't have a lot of load,
right?
So doing that definitely helps. That's with respect to the extracurriculars or something apart from academics. The unsaid rule is academics should be at least good enough for Cal. Cal doesn't expect like a 999 profile.
Okay.
It will help during placements, but for getting into IMC, it's not a requisite.
Okay.
So you can basically focus on your undergrad 10th, 12th scores, keep it decent enough so that it is not something that catches the eye of the interview panel and they question you a lot on it. And apart from that, yeah, any extracurricular activities in your college, inter-college competitions, go ahead. Try to even case competitions or any other for that matter. Take part, show that you have been active throughout your undergrad. Also, another thing that is important is PORs. So undergrad is a lot of PORs, cultural committee, other committees that might exist in your college. So joining those and trying to get a sense of what kind of responsibility you can handle, how many people worked under you, how did you handle them, that also gives you a good experience, and also that shows that you are fit to become a manager.
Okay. Yeah, Mannat?
Yeah, I agree with Shambhavi. There are a lot of things that can be done even now. I know a lot of people who had taken up, small certification courses or started doing some extracurricular activities. So basically what they're trying to test with these questions is what you can do beyond what is told for you to be done.
Correct.
So anything above and beyond that, any sort of extracurricular activities, any participation. And a lot of people think, yeah, ab to it's too late, what to do now? I mean, 10th, 12th, to jaake change nahi kar sakte hain. But you still have a lot of opportunities. What if you start a very small, art class or some dance class? Even if you've done it for like a period of 6 months, you can, take a lot of things out of it to talk about during the interview. They basically want to see something which is hatke in your profile, with which they can evaluate your managerial skills.
Okay.
So a manager is someone who, is not just bound by what is in the box and what is in the mold or something. You have to go above and beyond that, and that is what they're trying to test through your extracurricular and co-curricular skills. So just try to find something that you can do beyond your academics, if you can, to talk about in the interview.
Okay. Ashutosh and Manan, do you guys want to add anything, or else we can take questions now? Anything for profile building? Any tips? Yeah.
Nothing to add.
No? Okay. So let's take a few questions now. One is, if I'm working, do I need to take a few days off before the actual CAT completely for the preparation? This is for the people, who were working while they were preparing for CAT. So maybe Ashutosh, you can answer this. Would you like to? Yeah.
Sure. So before my CAT, I took a week off just to keep myself in a better mental state, so that I can go ahead and take CAT better. I would recommend the same to working people, because sometimes work becomes very hectic and you have to put in a lot of efforts there. That might distract you from your preparation, what you have done. So it's better to take a couple of days, at least a couple of days off before CAT, so that you can be in that mental state and go ahead with the process.
Okay. Yeah. Can sports be considered a strong point in my extracurricular activities? Who would like to answer? Manan?
Yes, definitely. I mean,
Hmm.
any kind of extracurricular activity depends whether it's sports, music, art, everything can be considered
Hmm.
a strong point. And
Hmm.
sports is definitely considered a strong point. So, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm a, female engineering fresher graduating this year. How much should my CAT score be to get a call from IMC? Although it keeps changing actually, the score and what's the prerequisite. But yeah, Manat, would you like to answer?
Yes, sure. So, I think somewhere above 98 should get you a call from IMC. But what I'd say is you should always aim for the highest score possible. Never go for 98 as your aim. Go for something like, for me, it was 99.5, which
Hmm.
I was able to achieve. But then again, if I would have not aimed for 99.5, even 98.5 would have become very difficult. So,
Okay.
aim for the highest and then just wait for the calls. It's, I mean, I know it gives you a lot of jitters to wait and see and everything, but it
Hmm.
really changes year to year so dynamically that you cannot predict for sure. But somewhere north of 98 should get you a call at least.
Okay. How important are past academics to get into IIM Calcutta? I think Shambhavi did speak a little bit about it. Manan, you can
Yeah,
answer.
so
Yeah.
actually, if you see,
Hmm. Hmm.
I have posted a link. So
Yeah.
anything in 80% above in 10, 10, 12 gives you the highest score, which is 10 and 15, which
Okay.
was this year's criteria. There
Okay.
is no graduation criteria as such, as far
Okay.
as I know.
Hmm.
And it keeps on changing, but ye saal nahi tha. There is no minimum CGPA in your graduation.
Okay.
Majorly 56%, not actually 70% of your score depends on your CAT.
Okay.
So CAT and then around 10% each of your 10, 10, 12, which if
Hmm.
you get above 80, you are through. 80 के नीचे तो थोड़ा fight है, but majorly depends totally on your CAT score to get an interview call.
Hmm.
In interview, then your interview matters obviously, but
Okay.
academics wise, 10, 12 and graduation, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay. How a non-engineer can do well in quants? Any tips, Manan?
Yeah, so I practice a lot and I was
Hmm.
lucky, but I mean depends, yeah. Matlab,
Yeah.
it's not that it's integration derivatives and all of that.
Huh.
Okay, it's till 10 standard, max to max 11 standard ka basic. So I divided quants into five stuff. One of my professors told me
Hmm.
this is geometry, there is modern maths, there is arithmetic, there is algebra, and और एक कुछ तो है. So I focused on three parts out of five. So I disregarded geometry completely. नहीं जमता था मुझे. I used
Hmm.
to leave the questions in the exam also.
Okay.
I did algebra, I did arithmetic, and I did, I guess, modern math. So ये
Hmm.
तीन पे I focused a lot, and I got by practice only I got to know कि ये type of sums I can solve like this. I can solve like, as I guess Manat was saying, there are three types of
Hmm.
way to solve the problem and all.
Correct.
I used to
Yeah.
take the easiest way, simple as
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
and I used to practice a lot. I focused majorly my part of 4 5 months on quants only, and then
Hmm.
I could come out well. So I think practice.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anybody wants to add anything else, or we can move to the next section? Okay, so let's talk about academics. Now, this section, I'll be covering more with questions to Shambhavi and Ashutosh, since they are current students. And placements, of course, I'll be covering more with Manat and Manan. So, yeah. So, can you, Shambhavi and Ashutosh, can you guys talk about a little bit about, how was your first week, first day at IIM Calcutta, like how your life changed sort of after stepping in the campus? Yeah, Ashutosh, you can answer, then Shambhavi.
Sure. So our batch was like the second batch of COVID after
Hmm.
COVID hit. So
Yeah.
we our orientation was all online. We had to stay back at our hometown
Hmm.
and join the classes from there. So yeah, so basically our orientation was online. So it was much fun because a lot of things you get to know about MBA happens like you get to know in the orientation week itself.
Hmm.
So it was a quite amazing experience, like uh, shifting from a perspective to again going back to college and doing all those college level stuff again. So that was quite amazing for me. With the respect to academics, it was very good. Like so you have to work hard wherever you study, either it's A, B, or C, or L. So it's not like you have to chill anytime. But yeah, definitely you'll have to work hard to get your cats scores. uh, and obviously, yes, in the first week you had interactions with the college seniors and all. They helped us quite a lot. So yeah, that helped us.
Okay, Shambhavi?
So with respect to academics, the first term I found it was really heavy. The first day wasn't that heavy because it was a bit introduction to the subjects and the easier part of subjects.
Okay.
But once it started, there are more credits to complete in the first term. So it was a bit tough. And as we were online, we were not interacting with our friends as much. And so there was less of comfort. And there is also a thing called peer learning. So people used to teach us, but वो उतना समझ में नहीं आता था because online you had to figure out sources on your own.
Yeah.
So that was something I struggled with. With respect, I found third term the easiest because there are a lot of non-math subjects there. Second term was a bit, again, quant related. So that was a bit tough for me. So first two terms, I believe at Cal might be something people might struggle with, especially from a non-math background.
Do you have clubs and committees there? As in, do you have to be? Is it a must to be part of any clubs or committees, or is it like?
Not at all. So during induction, all the clubs and committees and SIGs will basically present what they do and what they expect from the future volunteers. And people join for like 2 or 3 reasons mainly. First one would be because they have interest in that particular club. Second would be they want to explore. Maybe someone who is not a dancer or a singer might try the clubs to see whether they are good at it, to explore some new interest, or for friends or joining together to do some activities together. And the third would be it is easier to get PORs the next year if you are a part of the club in the first year. So being a good volunteer, basically if you want PORs in the second year, it helps. But it's not a must. You can say that I'm not going to join any club, not do any extracurricular activity and just study. But that is definitely not appreciated because if you are doing extracurriculars to get into a college, they expect you to show the same info and get the best out of a college. And I believe clubs are a way to do it.
Okay. Can you guys talk about like what was your favorite class or subject and who was your favorite faculty member? So Mannat, you can also answer, then Manan, then Ashutosh, then Shambhavi.
I think almost everyone on campus knows that my favorite professor was Trishanu Rakshit.
Okay.
He was my marketing professor, and I think he taught us so well that it became one of the reasons why I wanted to pursue a career in marketing. So he's a great professor. So for me, it was marketing management in first year.
Okay. Yeah, Manan?
Yeah, so there is this course called ASCOM in, I guess, term 4. So it's taken by a professor named Pragyan Rath. It's mainly on communication and how to, find patterns in, advertisement, movies and all. So I found it very different and I really liked it. So yeah.
Ashutosh?
So after joining AMCAL, the first class was taken by Professor Rahul Mukherjee. I guess Manat would agree on this, that he is
Yeah.
the most humble and helpful person in the entire campus. So he taught us statistics.
Okay.
So that was my favorite subject, and he's one of the best professors in AMCAL.
Okay. Shambhavi?
For me, it was Anirban Pal. He takes strategic management in term 3 for some sections. And the way he taught it, it was a case-based class, and he made us read different cases, and the way he analyzes those cases was really something I enjoyed. And that was one class I did every reading for. Like sometimes you tend to skip readings if you're bored, but that was one class I felt I wanted to do those things.
Okay. Yeah, there are a few questions about is it a good decision to leave your job and then prepare for CAT? And if yes, how do you handle the gap year in your personal interview? Who would like to answer? Anybody? Manan or Mannat or?
I can answer that. So
Yeah,
I didn't have technically a gap, but I had a gap. So I completed my 3 years articleship slash internship, and in October 2017, I did not do anything till June.
Okay.
So, and during the interviews, which were in Feb 2018 and all, I was asking, what are you doing? And I said, no, no, I'm just preparing for interviews and all. So they
Okay.
asked me, why didn't you take up a job? What was your reason? Why you did not, why is this a gap year and etc. and all that. They tried to pressurize me, but I had my reasons. I told them I was studying since for CAT. I was preparing for interviews. I had 3 years of experience. I thought I'll just take a break before the grueling 2 years. So you just have to, explain your, stance in a way that they understand. And see, they want someone who is very logical and can stand up for him or herself, right?
Okay.
They'll try to pressurize you in the interviews always कि यार बाकी लोगों ने तो कर दिया है तुम क्यों नहीं कर पाए and all of that something मतलब
Okay.
anything can come,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
to just throw you off, but you need to stand your ground and you need to have a valid reason. I mean, if you think a gap year or quitting your job can help you getting a good percentile and getting a good interview and have a chance of converting them, then why not take the chance, right? And if you
Right.
cannot, then I mean, it's upon you, right? I mean, it's your decision, it's your risk. So that's it. Even so, I had two of my friends who also did not take up jobs. They couldn't clear CAT in the year. Okay,
Okay.
so they got good percentile, but they couldn't get into the colleges they wanted. But one of them is right now going to Yale after 4 5 years, and another person, she went to ISB and now she's working in NICA. So things turned out well, but at that time it did not turn out well. But they
Correct.
were okay with that because when they took the decision, they
Hmm.
were sure of कि अगर करना है तो अभी करना है, नहीं
Correct.
हुआ तो ठीक है देख लेंगे कुछ और. So that attitude you need to have. You cannot be 100% sure कि if you are quitting a job, you'll get into whatever your dream B school.
Yeah. I want to go for, I want to take CAT in November this year. So I've just joined IMS. First classes from tomorrow. I know it's a bit late, but I'm sure that I'll give my 100%. Any specific suggestion to score well in such a short period? So is there like a thing that this particular student can do to to find success? It's what, 4.5 months left now. So
So
yeah.
I also joined IMS in July only, and I
Okay.
started then only.
Actually, July, huh? Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but so I gave, see, as everyone said, mocks. I mean, so I gave a mock in August. I scored a 90 percentile. I scored single digit in quants. बाकी सब में अच्छा था. Like single digits, like
हाँ,
not
हाँ.
even like percentile. Like 6 marks आए थे मुझे.
Okay.
Okay. Overall कुछ 100 आए थे. But then I realized कि यार quants is my weakest subject. So a lot of people helped me before I went to the CAT. So a lot of people told me यार mock दे दे without studying anything. You will know what are your inherent strengths and inherent weaknesses and work on your inherent weaknesses. I know बहुत easy लगता है बोलने को, करने को
Yeah.
difficult होता है, but ideally my answer should be कि first give a mock after studying for like 1 2 weeks. You'll understand what you are good at and what you're bad at, and then focus on the bad and try to see a progression. So I'll tell you one of my another friends who started with me. He couldn't clear the CAT in the year, that is 2017. But
Okay.
next year he got a 99 point something. He went to IMA. But his progression, my progression were different. So in my mocks, there were a lot of progression. I could reach around 98 percentile by end of September or start of October. He still couldn't reach those percentile in mocks in the 2017. But next
Okay.
year he did. So look out for progression as well. Ideally, जितने भी मेरे friends थे सब लोग, they used to score around 97, 98, 99 in October. And I'm not sure about the panelists here, but they used to score that much, and then they were pretty confident कि यार November last week में आ ही जाएगा कुछ ना कुछ. So I think first give a mock, study the portion. There is no portion as such, and then focus on your progression. If you are seeing you are getting stalled, maybe you need to do something else. That's it. And I have seen people do it in 1 month also, and I have seen people not doing in 12 months also.
Correct.
So timing is not an issue here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Ashutosh, Shambhavi, Manna, do you guys want to add anything, or we can move to internship and placements?
One thing I want to add over here is that some people just go and give mocks and they think that they just have to increase the number of mocks that they've attempted.
Correct.
But I think giving mocks is just like the 10% of the thing. The 90% comes from the analysis of the mocks, of how you've attempted it and how you can improve those attempts. So keep a notebook and try and make notes of what can be done better the next time and how a particular question can be solved in some other way which can save you time. So that is also really important.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Ashutosh?
To add on Manna's point regarding the analysis part, so what we did in our time was we created a group of 7-8 people, and Scrabbler was also in that group.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Scrabbler helped us quite a lot. So we once we took a mock, uh, once the results came out, we sat down and we gave entire 3 hours for going through the entire mock again, best practices, looking for best practices, how to solve the question in a better way in a shorter time, because time is the limit there. You don't have enough time in cat. The game is of time only. So you need to reduce the time uh, for attempting any question. You need to uh, you know look for the question which you can attempt earlier, so that you don't waste time in looking for questions. So what I'll suggest is create a group of 7-8 people and sit down, analyze, look for best practices to solve the questions.
Okay. Okay. So anybody, Shambhavi, you want to add anything, or we can move to the next section? Yeah. Okay. So now let's start talking about internships and placements. So okay, first let's talk about the summer internship and the internship selection process. So maybe Shambhavi, you can take this. What is the internship selection process? And then Ashutosh, you can take the bit about how your internship is working out for you. Yeah. Okay. As much as you can speak. Yeah. I mean, as much as you can share, that is. Yeah.
Yeah. So with respect to internships, so when I joined IIM Cal, I was kind of unaware about the various sectors in which I can get into. It is different for freshers and people with work ex. Some companies demand that the candidates that they choose have a certain level of work ex. I was a fresher. So, and my with respect to my interest and this kind of CV I had, so basically the team, the placement team will ask you to collate all the points, everything you have done from say your school years to your undergrad or the latest work ex or education, whatever you had. And after that, you make a CV, you reiterate it. I had about 35 iterations of my summer CV. You show it to seniors. The feedback from seniors is really, really valuable, and they kind of tell you what, from experience, what kind of shortlist you might get or you can expect, so that you start preparing for that sector. For me, it was consult. I did my internship in the Boston Consulting Group. There, certain kind of CVs are suitable for marketing, certain are suitable for consulting, others for broadman. So it differs what you have done in your life, what is your background. Like for me, Microsoft was never my target company. That is something very technical. So that is there.
So what worked for you? Which happens? Shambhavi, which bit worked for you then in terms of consulting, as per your profile? Which part, which aspect worked for you for BCG?
Got it. Yeah. So no one knows how these consulting companies shortlist candidates, but I think it is based on certain buckets. So they divide your CV into divide your CV into buckets, and they look for spikes in every bucket. For example, one can be academics. If you have a 988, 999, whatever, so that they have a cap there. Then a second spike would be your extracurriculars, what additional you have done. A third thing would be PORs, whether you have responsibilities or projects, something you have done which stands out. Also, sports gets included in extracurriculars. That is also a spike. So, and a work ex, if you have relevant work ex, if you have done really good projects in your past company, then that holds as a spike. So anything that makes you stand out from the rest of the crowd is considered a spike, and they look for such 3-4 spikes. If you have those, so according to each consulting company, definitely has a different criteria, but overall, this is what I think is that gets you into this.
Okay. Yeah.
And also your interest, that plays a huge role, because there is something called buddy rounds, and they
where you
ask you whether you are interested in consulting, and where you practice cases, and basically whether you are interested in consulting and whether you are interested in their company. If you don't know anything about consult and you can't answer that well, then they understand that you are not interested. And sometimes people figure it out after summers that consulting is not my cup of tea. I'll go for say some others. That is totally fine. Depends on you. Depends on how you find the field, the people.
Okay. Yeah. Ashutosh, can you talk about your internship experience, as much as you can share. Yeah.
Sure. So I also worked at Boston Consulting Group, and so initially we had orientation week for 2 3 days, and then we were allocated a project. My piece was entire individual, like I was working on a strategic piece, but my piece was to develop uh, org structure
Okay.
for a firm. Uh, so initially you are allocated with a cover who helps you with the process, how to do with it, how to deal with uh, clients, how to deal with people around. So he helps you quite a lot, and he helps you in the project itself. So it becomes quite easy for you to get into that kind of rhythm. Uh, then there's a mid-year, midweek, mid-internship review,
Okay.
where you get your feedback from your managers, the senior managers, senior leadership, where you can improve upon what you have done good. So
Okay.
all these things. Then the next 3 4 weeks you try to improve upon them, and there's a final review.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
process of interview.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Manan and Manat, can you guys talk about the placement process? And also, of course, both of you have had PPOs. So I guess, a huge chunk of burden was, was not there for you guys. But can you take us through the placement process, but also talk about, the ones, who are actually sitting for, who are not getting a PPO, then what? And also how a good summer internship can lead to a good placement in a good firm, as in, is there anything, is it interconnected or not? So Manat, you can take first. You can talk about your experience and your PPO experience with L'Oreal and your summer internship as well, a little bit. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Madan,
sure.
you can talk about the entire process and your experience. Yeah. Okay.
So during my summer internship, I was pretty sure that I want to get into a marketing firm.
Okay.
So usually I feel that there are two category of, sectors which people have. The first is the dream sector where they want to get into. And the second is the kind of profile that they have. Luckily for me, I had a marketing profile, and also my dream sector became marketing. So I had prepared very rigorously for that. The rigor required is like huge. You have to invest a lot of time beyond academics to prepare for the interviews.
Right.
And then eventually I was able to get through quite a few marketing interviews. So but yes, definitely a good summer internship can get you far. Even if you're not converting a PPO, a good internship helps you prepare for your final placements as well, where you can talk about your internship experience.
Okay.
PPOs are, I feel, very dynamic. I mean, the kind of performance that you've had during your internship definitely does not decide if you're getting the PPO or not. It depends on a variety of factors, like your mentor or what the company wants to do in the future, the kind of projects that they want to do, and the kind of project that you worked on. So definitely converting a PPO is not equal to the amount of hard work that you've put in, but definitely if you do not put in any hard work, you're not getting a PPO.
Right.
So that is very important. And then during the final placement process, for the people who do not have that converted PPO, there is no loss at all. I feel it's, in fact, a lot of people got much better placements than they would have through their PPO. They prepared so rigorously. They worked for 2 years on making a very strong profile. Like, for example, in the beginning, if a person did not have a fin profile but wanted to get into a fin role, these 2 years at Joka will help you build that profile, and then eventually land that fin job that you've always wanted. So just never lose hope and always aim to build a better profile for the final placements. And there are ample opportunities. If you come to IMC, you'll be able to land the kind of job that you want.
Okay. Manan. Okay, and also how exactly I mean, you can also talk a little bit more about, how if somebody does not have a PPO, then how do they handle the pressure, if you can? I mean, from
Yeah,
your
sure.
your batchmates.
Yeah. So So the process, I mean, it's very
Mm-hmm.
straightforward. So there is a
Mm,
summer internship where you take a 2 month, you go to a company, you
mm.
work actually, and then you get a PPO or you do not get a PPO. There is no in
Okay.
between.
Yeah.
And then there's the final placements. Okay.
Okay.
So the process now, during my time, it was different. There was some
Mm.
days and all of that, day zero. And
Okay.
now there are some clusters, but in
Mm.
essence, it's the same. Okay. Basically, every company has divided into clusters. Like, there's a cluster 1 or cluster 0. I'm
Yeah.
not sure about terminology, but a lot of good companies will come in that cluster. Okay, so the
Right.
first day is very important. So if you get
Mm.
a first day company ka shortlist or an interview, it's
Mm.
good. And then it's not that it's bad that you get a cluster 2 or cluster 3 shortlist,
Okay. Mm.
but overall, I mean, depends. One second. Based on the process is divided into, each company has its different process. For consulting, as Shambhavi said, there are buddy interviews and all.
Mm.
For finance firms also there are buddy interviews. Even now
Mm.
marketing firms have the buddy interviews.
Mm.
Then there are different processes. There are psychometric tests and all of
Mm.
that for certain marketing firms.
Mm.
Then there are GDs, or focus group discussions, or chairman discussions for some general management firms. So each company will come with its own selection and interview procedure.
Mm.
You have to go through the same. So I mean, if they want you to do a interview beforehand, you would have to do that. If they want to do an interview during the day, you have to do that. So it's very generic.
Okay.
But the companies and the placement cell will help you and guide you when you're in college,
Mm.
and also your
Mm.
seniors would guide you, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a very structured process.
Mm.
And you would be judged on how you have well performed. So there are five
Mm.
things that I generally see
Mm.
whenever I think a company is selecting a person.
Mm.
It varies to sector and company, but first and foremost would be your academics in
Okay.
your 2 years. Okay, this I
Mm-hmm.
am talking about final placement. Summer placements may the
Yes. Yeah.
definition is different. It is whatever you have done before your college.
Correct. Okay.
Whereas final placements, you have 2 years of ample time to do whatever you want
Mm.
in your college, and that
Mm.
will be judged.
Okay.
First thing will be your academics and whatever you have done. Second is your case competitions, extracurriculars, PORs that you have done in your 2 years. Third would be your summer internship,
Mm.
where you summer intern, what did you do? Did you get a PPO or not a PPO?
Okay.
And
Mm.
answering a question like, if you get a good summer internship, it may or may not necessarily translate, because other factors also come into play. So
Okay.
I have seen a lot of friends who had a good internship, but they did not have a good CG, or they did not have any good extracurriculars in these 2 years.
Okay.
So even if the summer
Mm.
internship was good, it helped
Mm.
them in 1 2 companies, but not overall.
Okay.
The
Okay.
the fourth would be your prior work ex, if you have any,
Mm.
or your college, whatever internship yours. And the fifth would
Okay.
be your 10 12 graduation percentage also. It
Right.
forms a very minor part, but it still does.
Okay.
So based on these factors, based on the descending order of priority, I feel like academics and what you have done in these 2 years will matter a lot in the final placement.
Okay.
And for the people who don't have a PPO,
Mm.
it gives a added pressure, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you won't be able to land a good final placements job. So
Mm.
to think it logically based on your academics or PORs, extra credits. So I've seen a lot of people who do not get a PPO
Mm.
suddenly become very active in the second year.
Okay.
Try to get good
Right.
kya kehte hain, CG,
Mm.
try to get more PORs, etc., and all
Mm.
of that.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that helps them. And I have seen a lot of people. So the people who get PPOs help people who do not get PPOs, right?
Correct.
In yoga. So
Okay. Okay.
everyone gives their tips and
I
tricks
was
कि
going to
हमने
ask you that. Yeah, I was going
हमने
to
ये
ask.
किया
Yeah.
वो किया. So a lot of my friends,
हाँ,
out of my
हाँ.
friends, like 3 4 people did not get a PPO. We sat with them. अगर एक जन को finance जाना था तो उसको
Mm.
जो भी finance वाले PPO holders से वो help कर रहे थे. Then
Mm.
there was 2 3 people who want to get into consults. We were taking this case interviews, buddy
Mm.
interviews with them. So
Mm.
that culture, and it is there in yoga.
Yeah.
It will be there in other schools also, but
Mm.
we sort
I've
of
heard about
are
this in
proud
IIM
about it
Calcutta.
कि हाँ
Yeah,
है
I've
तो
heard this specifically about IIM Calcutta that
yeah yeah.
everybody is
So
one
at least
for
in
all
my
and all
yeah
for
yeah.
one sort of a thing.
So
Yeah,
at least
same.
in my year, it was there. So I had friends in
Mm.
AA, BA also.
Yeah.
So they used to go home after their placement. So they're like
Okay.
a week long placement. First or second day में आधी जनता घर
Okay.
पे रहती थी. जो लोग
Okay.
place नहीं है वही रहते थे
Mm.
campus पे. But in my year, it was not there. Everyone was there
Okay.
in campus only. At least for the
Yeah.
batch who was getting
Yes.
placed, etc.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's there.
So
And
tell me something. If you get a PPO and you don't want to get into that particular
you can
firm,
say
can
no.
you still
Ah,
sit for the placement? Like,
you have to say no, but you
okay, but it won't have
but
any
now
effect
the
on
rules have
your.
also changed.
Okay.
So you can say yes and
Huh.
sit for a dream company, which
Okay.
is depending on the PPO company. So they have some criteria or tiers or
Okay.
classifications. So if you have a very good company's PPO as per IIM Calcutta, not okay, you can only sit for one more company, if I'm
Okay.
not wrong. And there is some cluster rule which came
Is that
recently. I think
Mannat? Yeah. I mean,
Mannat
I
can
think yeah,
help and
Mannat would
Ashutosh and
help.
Shambhavi.
Yeah. And Ashutosh, yeah. Sambhavi. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a PPO and if you do not want to get into that company, you can reject it and then sit for the entire placement process.
Okay.
Or you have a dream policy in place wherein you
Okay.
can, apply for other companies with your PPO. But that's a limited number of firms that you can apply to.
Okay. Yeah, Ashutosh and Shambhavi, how much of campus and the whole Joka spirit that everybody talks about with IIM Calcutta have you guys experienced so far? Have you guys been there to? Are you guys at the campus right now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Ashutosh. So how exactly? What does it like? A lot of people say that it's very different culture from. Obviously, IIM Calcutta versus IIM Ahmedabad and IIM B. I mean, people are always basically comparing these. Is there? I mean, if you have any idea, that is, about the other campuses.
Well, I can talk about Calcutta.
Yeah, IIM Calcutta.
Yeah. So starting from the when we joined, we had buddy sessions with seniors. So they helped us quite a lot in each and every aspect. Whatever silly questions you have, you just go ahead and ask them. They won't hesitate in answering any of them. And like it is one of the beautiful things which I have came across the campus, that everyone is there to help and support each and everyone who is in need. uh, Talking about my personal experience, I had a accident and I broke my hand. Like it was not a broken hand, but yeah, I hurt, my hand got hurt. And uh, it was during the intersections which we have a sports meet which we have. So a lot of people came to me, asked me whether I'm going to play or not. They took me to the hospital and they helped me quite a lot. So it's in the Joker spirit that everyone comes and supports you, helps you in every possible way. So I'm not sure if that's there in other B schools or not. But yeah, we during the placements as well. Once
No, somebody had actually said this, that okay, IIM A is the academic rigor is too much, and then IIM B it's still balanced somewhere, but IIM Calcutta is kind of chilled. So this was something like few years back. Somebody had said about IIM Calcutta. Okay.
It's not chill as such, but you have to do some rigor. But there are people who help you and support you in every possible way. That makes it quite easier for you to survive the MBA life at IIM Calcutta.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Now let's show some. Since we are talking so much about Joka and campus, so let's talk about the campus life at campus. So how is the life at campus? How about showing few photos? I think Mannat has some photos.
This was my first day on campus, and I was greeted by one of the furry friends on campus. So IIM Calcutta is known for its pet keeping culture. So cats and dogs are in abundance on campus, and you can make a lot of friends. Then these are a few of the campus photos. This is one of the photos at night where we used to take a walk. This is our library. Then this is the auditorium. This is one of the earliest sunrises that I've seen on campus. I think this was somewhere in the month of February.
That's the main building, right?
Yes, this is the auditorium. This is like the picture perfect sort of view from the jetty. This is the residential area on campus. This is one of the night walks that we used to take on campus. So one thing in Joka is that I call it the Joka standard time. So everyone goes to sleep at 4 a.m. in the morning and wakes up at 10 o'clock. So if you go out at like 2, 3 o'clock, you'll see a lot of people taking walks on the roads because nobody is asleep. This is one of the foggy nights. There used to be such a beautiful fog on campus those days. So this is from one of my very first outings. This
Okay.
is the Princep Ghat in
Yeah.
Kolkata, and Kolkata is really beautiful, by the way. I have always wanted to live there, and it's very beautiful, aesthetically very pleasing. This is our mess where we used to have our breakfast, lunch, dinner, and we also have a night mess operational on campus, which has hours like 10 p.m. to I think 11 o'clock to 4 a.m.
Okay.
And we used to order like crazy. We a night mess was our go-to thing. I mean, it was, I think, my speed dial at one point of time. I remember when we had to come back home, we used to get so deprived of that, ordering habit of just ordering crispy corn or hot bonvita from the night mess.
Okay.
This is again the auditorium. It used to look very beautiful whenever it used to rain.
Right.
This is a view as soon as I get out of my hostel. So one of the roads there.
Okay.
Another photo of the auditorium. This is one of the most beautiful photos I've ever clicked. This is again post rain. This was my room.
Okay.
Very initially when I was just setting it up. So one of the photos of my room.
Okay.
This is the old bridge. Here on the left side, you could actually see fireflies during the night. A lot of them. It was very beautiful. This is the LVH bridge. This is the view from a lot of people's room if you get into the Lakeview hostel.
Yes, yeah.
This is the view from one of the terraces, the academic building on our campus. So that's me again on. This is the jetty, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
This is from our first trip. We took a road trip to Mandarmani, which is around 120 kilometers from Kolkata. So we drove and we just had our first trip there. This is the jetty on Independence Day.
This photo I've seen almost in every speaker has always, even Manan, if you remember last time we had, I think two or three photos of these.
Yeah, the jetty is like the hangout place of almost everyone on campus. This is the LVH bridge.
Of course.
It looks very pretty.
Correct, yeah.
This is another one of our furry friends. This is the bench.
Of course.
We usually called it the loner's bench or the bench where people hang out usually. Then again, the jetty during the day. This is me in my room. This is the inside view of the room and just
pretty neat, actually, pretty cool, actually, with a window and everything and a nice view.
It was, I think the room itself, sufficient in itself. You can load it up. There's a Machhardani, by the way.
Yeah, Ashutosh, do you have, and Shambhavi, do you guys have also, rooms like this? Or are these the kind of rooms you guys have?
Yeah, definitely.
Room with a view? Yeah, okay.
I think Shambhavi is in Lakeview
hostel. I'm in Lakeview hostel. So,
nice. So you have a lake view. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And one of the sunrises.
Nice.
This is another foggy day. This is from our trip to Goa. Okay. I think I went to like 5-6 trips during my second year with multiple groups. So a lot of trips. And this is towards the end of it. We had a formals photo shoot. Yeah, this is the convocation day.
Okay.
That's it.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so now before we wrap up, just quick questions. Manat, can you talk a little bit about like maybe a tip or two for people who are preparing, as in, if you want to get 99 percentile, how do you work on it from now, for
mocks, give as many mocks as you can. At least, even if you're going for like a 30 to 40 sort of a mocks, attempt all the mocks that you're taking up, at least attempt them. Just practice those mocks, analyze them, and devise a strategy for yourself that you can use on the D-Day.
Manan, tip.
Focus on your weak areas and give mocks. And don't be disheartened. You will get 2-3 mocks which will be very low scores. I used to get 70-75 percentile as well. But always focus on your weak areas, try to improve them, and just practice. That's it.
Okay. Ashutosh and Shambhavi, please give one tip each on PI and one tip each on CAT. Ashutosh, since you guys are the newbies, so more about the current situation in CAT as well as for PI. Ashutosh.
Regarding CAT, just need to stay calm during the entire 3 hours. Don't panic if if you're starting with a VARC, if VARC, like you don't get better questions in VARC, you feel like that it's going down the drain, but it will be for each and everyone. So don't panic. Start the next session or next section from the start. Give your best, and hopefully you'll clear.
Yeah, Shambhavi.
Well, I would say select your questions well. You have a limited time, so know what your strong areas are and attempt those questions first. And it might happen that you might think this is your strong area, but the question is something jumbled. So have the power and confidence to leave it. Like leaving questions is also an art. Don't get stuck up. Ki, I have to solve this question. It's not necessary. Keep a tab on time. And with respect to PI, general knowledge and whatever goes on right there and there. Read newspapers. Thoda pata hona chahiye. And don't say you're a reader if you're not. You can totally say that yes, I'm preparing for the interview, and that's an acceptable answer. So don't say something that is not true. It might get you into trouble. So honesty is like appreciated.
All right. Okay. That's all we have time for. Before we wrap up, I would like to thank all our attendees and all our speakers. Thank you, Mannat Kaur. Thank you, Manan Ved. Thank you, Ashutosh Gupta. And thank you, Shambhavi Joshi. Thank you so much for being here today for this insightful session. Thank you.